Beautiful canyon here in, this is Georgia. We're in Georgia, guys. Wow, isn't this beautiful? Oh, man. Woo. Wow. I wonder what that is. That looks like it might be a cave or something, huh? Let's see what we are looking at. What do you see? Tennessee River Gorge. Wow. Spectacular. Wow. So beautiful. Huh. Wow. I keep saying it, but every time I go someplace, it's prettier. It's just, it's this area up here in the North Alabama, North Georgia, and Tennessee is just the most beautiful place I've ever seen in my life. Just the most beautiful place. Oh my goodness, what is this? Uh-oh, it's starting to rain. Good, because that way it won't be hot. So we got Overlook 2 and the main overlook down here. Well, I'm all for Maine, the main one, right? Look at these rocks. Little staircases. Beautiful. Alright, let's go look over here for a second. Wow. Huh. There's a woodpecker's been tearing the heck out of this, and look at this, we found some. That's what we want. That's what we're really here for. Mm-hmm. Let me get some of that. Hopefully we'll find a bunch of it, huh? I brought a plastic bag today so I could take some of the things I find. Almost dropped it. A little piece of it. It's hard to focus anything. I'll have to put the camera down so I can get this. Hold on. Okay. Well, I got some big chunks off of there. But look at this tree. Is that a bird you think did that all the way up? And of course, way up there, there's a bunch of pitch coming out that I can't reach, which I'm not climbing out there over this cliff. But look at all the pine cones there. Oh man. I could just live here. Oh, I do live here. Well, you know, my daughter just moved. She left a couple days ago, California. She's going to school out there, and her husband got a position there too, and so I just talked to her on the phone. She seemed happy and up, and everything's going well. Oh man. Yeah, I wouldn't want to fall off of this, but just wanted to see this beautiful. Oh, it's just, I love the way the rocks are so clean and the trails and stuff. Looking for pitch. I'll find me some more, but I did get a little bit of it. Okay, here's the actual trail. Oh, here's the lookout too. This is where we were supposed to walk. Isn't this neat? Wow. Ooh, look at this. I might find a bunch of pitch on this one. Sometimes the real good stuff is black. That's probably, yeah, it's just bark, I guess, but that could be a big chunk. Let's see. Yep, that's a big old. It's, boy, this is not focusing on what I want it to focus on. I'd have to put it on something like, oops, almost lost it, to show you guys. And it's just not, it's not, I think this camera's worthless, guys. Well, we'll find another place where we can get some. Lots of holes. I hear somebody way down over the hill. I don't know, maybe they're throwing their voice from the ridge. Look at that. Whew. Yeah, gonna rain. Wow. It's like the Grand Canyon with trees. Yeah, I suppose you gotta put money in that to see anything. Always wanting the money, huh? Want the money, honey. What do we got here? Hmm. Hmm. That is crazy. There's a hole underneath this hole. Underneath this whole rock. Wow. Comes the rain. It's gonna pour here in a little bit. The phone's gonna get wet. Ooh.
That's on the trail. The trail that we got lost on our coast there.
Wow, so neat. Dogs are home. They had their babies, and so there's a whole bunch of little puppies at the house, and they can't go on these trips at the moment. Well, I think I'm probably gonna just, I might go up from here instead of going back. Looks like I could make it. Oh, what's this? There's another overlook this way. I'm not getting too wet because I'm under the trees. Boy, if it keeps raining like this, I'm not going to be able to take much of a hike. I did not know it was going to rain. But I got some pine pitch. Better being out here in the rain than it is in the sunshine when it's real hot. Wow. That's a big old tree there. And there's a big round thing or something. Weird. Well, I'm getting soaked. My phone's gonna, I don't think my phone's supposed to get wet. Pretty sure it's not supposed to get wet. Oh. Yeah, I got so many videos to do, and sometimes when I get in a series, like we were doing the mushroom series, I guess, I did a bunch of those, and people have said, hey, I thought you were going to finish the mushroom thing, and you never finished it. Well, I'm going to finish all of it, but I got to go back and establish a couple points before we go on to the mushrooms, and then I start talking about what was the next subject? Well, we were going to talk about the Vestal Virgins. We covered a lot of that leading up to that. The Troy, the Annius that gave birth to Romulus and Remus and started Rome. And we talked about the Elysian mysteries. We've done all that. And we're getting to the Vestal Virgins, which is going to be blow your mind. I mean, Rome was not ruled over by a king. Now, who would have thunk? Nobody told us this. We're always told that the Pontifex Maximus was the supreme priest, king, whatever. He was the pontiff. That's the position that the Pope has. It's the greatest, most prestigious position. But what they don't tell you is that there is a higher position, and it's the Rex Socorum. It's really the king, but it isn't just one person, it's two people. There's the king and the queen, and they rule equally and together, and they cannot rule without each other. In fact, if one would die, oh, look at that. Huh, this goes down. This ought to be good. Wait till we get down there, huh? Oh, howdy. It stops raining. It might even be swift down there. So, and this isn't just Rome. You have to understand this is ancient tradition that goes back to Judah from Zerah, not the Pharez line that was in Israel, but the Zerah line that went up through Troy. And so their traditions go, they say, we don't know where they went. Well, or where they come from, these traditions. These traditions come from Israel. All nations, every tradition comes from the children of Israel. See how it's really raining, guys? I got to stay under this tree for a little bit until it stops raining. And then I can go out there and we can look. Right now I'm getting my phone all wet. I'm about ready to blow a fuse on this phone, I think. Where am I going to get shade while the rain goes here? Oh. There's just nowhere to stand where I can keep dry. But all the traditions come from Israel. And Israel was ruled over by a man and a woman. And these traditions went into all the world. Different places and traditions went into different parts of the world. But of course the government that ruled over the other governments eventually went to Greece and then to Rome. And so one of the major traditions in this royal bloodline of Judah, the scepter shall not depart from Judah until he who comes has the legal right. And so Zerah is going to repair the breach at one point someday. Oh man, it's really going to come down here. Whew, I got to find some shelter. I want to go down the steps, but man, it's just raining. Go over here, maybe my phone's gonna be soaked. Oh boy. We can't do this. I'm getting soaked. Alright guys, I'm going to shut this off. Alright, well I got out of the rain just about the time I got into this roof. The rain started to stop. And here it comes again. But anyway, I am soaked. Totally soaked. But what I was saying is, it's so important, and so we're going to have to do a whole video or two on this, you know. Well, this will be the part. I'll probably describe all of this, talk about it when we get to the Vestal Virgins, but the authority of Rome is not something to take lightly. They are the authority appointed by the divine gods. And they are the holy royal bloodline, at least one of them. Of course, so was Nebuchadnezzar. The rabbis say he was the son of Bathsheba and Solomon. So they ruled all over, and all the kings, but the world powers would come up one at a time. And they were all under the authority of Yahweh, as Yahweh says in Daniel chapter 4, where he told Babylon, the first of the kings, the head of gold, that after him would be other kingdoms all the way down to our day, which is the feet, partly of iron and partly of clay, that would be 10 horns that wouldn't mix. They wouldn't be able to, you know, they'd be partly weak and partly strong, and one belief or another, and nobody get along, and it would all crumble. The whole thing would come down on top of each other and crumble in the dust, which is exactly what we're seeing. But so scholars look at that and they say, well, that's interesting, because there was a higher position than the Pontifex Maximus. That was just the high priest, Pontifex Maximus. That's what it means, a high priest. And in Israel, they had a high priest. He was very powerful. Like Samuel was the high priest, but David was king. And so the whole royal wedding thing plays a huge part in this whole belief system. It goes all the way back to the gods and the great wedding and the child of the divine being mankind, the only begotten heir of the deities. So in Roman times, they can't figure out. They had a position that was a king, but he had no authority. Technically, they said he had all the authority. He was the king. He was the highest position. He had a royal seat at the games. He slept at the Regia, which is the regal palace. He had a high estate there. The Pontifex Maximus stayed there, just as the Pope to this day stays at the Regia palace. But today we don't have a king. We have Pontifex Maximus, the vicar of Christ, but we don't have Christ. We don't have David. We don't have a king. And people have said, well, we don't understand why. Well, it's because they don't believe in Jesus. Jesus was the king, and they tried to make him king, and he refused it. There is a story with Julius Caesar. They tried to make him king, but he refused it. So this is why we don't have a king today, because our king is Jesus, and our queen is Mary Magdalene, and she rules and reigns. Jesus and Mary Magdalene rule this world, not the Pontifex Maximus. Well, the Pope even admits that. He admits he's standing in for Christ, but they don't listen to Jesus. And because in 394, the Bishop of Rome, or the Pope, outlawed these teachings. They disbanded the Vestal Virgins, the priests, the Flamens, which were basically the 12, like the 12 apostles. They claimed there were 15 of them, but that's not really true. There were 12 Flamens, which are, each one was over one of the tribes, the 12 tribes, or, you know, the archons. But the other three, to make 15, those were like the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Those were like the three high council. They weren't part of the 12. They were also priests, and they were higher than the 12. And the Pontifex Maximus ruled over them. So they were the highest, the Flamens. And then there were augurs,
which they did certain rituals. They were kind of like priests as well. They kept feast days and so forth. And then there was the Vestal Virgins, who also had authority to make law, to tell citizens what to do. They ruled. Men and women both ruled ancient Israel as well as Rome and India and other places. But because of modern times, there's been an apostasy. That's where we're going to go next, though. Before we get to the Vestal Virgins, I've determined that I want to show beyond a doubt that the Bible that we need to read is the Septuagint, the Holy Textus Receptus. And I didn't even know this, because this is something that had confused me. I was told that the King James went by the Textus Receptus, but it does not. And so the Latin Vulgate is the only one, I think, the major one that does go by the Textus Receptus, which originally had the Apocrypha, which we can prove are really in the original Bible. And it wasn't just 66 books, and they were written only in Greek by a special chosen number of people who were chosen by God to translate it, the 72. And so they were a special council, just like on the Sanhedrin, that they were in authority, they were priests, and they were divinely inspired the scriptures, called the Septuagint. And in the Septuagint, it mentions the virgin birth, it mentions many different aspects, things that happened when Jesus died and stuff like this. But the Masoretic scribes, 1,000 years later, in the 11th century, claimed that they had some old manuscripts that they used to reconstitute the Bible into actual Hebrew. They added these vowel points, which never were in the original scriptures. They used different letters. They're not the original Paleographic Hebrew. And where they had various manuscripts, when they put them together, they chose they altered certain meanings, like they threw out the word virgin and just put a young maiden. They just took out that Jesus was the Lord. They took out the holy name of the divine being, which is Kyrios in Greek. And since we don't have a full-fledged Hebrew Bible that's in one piece, we have to go and look for manuscripts and pieces. And I've endeavored to do that, and I have found that the only places where the Old Testament spoke, like even in the Septuagint or any other Greek manuscripts, every time they ever mentioned Yahweh was when they transliterated it into Greek with the IAW, Iowa. And they never used tetragrammaton. That was a hoax. It was a hoax. It was a spoof where they pretended that the name of Yahweh was never to be spoken. That never was true in the days of Jesus. They used and spoke the name of Yahweh. They did not have any taboos about it. First of all, Yahweh is not the true deity. El was. And so all the way through, they say there were 7,000 times where Yahweh was in the Old Testament. Well, it's not in any of the early manuscripts, any of the Greek manuscripts, any of the early Christian New Testament manuscripts. Only, it's not even in the Dead Sea Scrolls and those writings always use El, except for in certain places where Yahweh, after the burning bush, there was a few places where they use Yahweh. Anyway, there's some people coming, so I'm gonna stop talking for a minute. See if it's rain has quieted down a little bit here, and we'll walk down this stairway a little ways to see how far it goes down and what it's taking us to. So yeah, that's why we don't have a king in the world today, because Jesus is our king. Same reason they didn't make a king here in America. So they know what they're talking about. This is real traditions that are being carried out. But there are usurpers to the throne, and that's what we've got. The Judeans translated the Bible, mistranslated it, and added the name Yahweh in place of El for the people that worshipped at Bethel. And this is what has completely confused the world. I'll explain probably in another video just how they did that so that people would fall for it. 1,000 years after Christ, they come up with a, by the time at the point where they finally got people to really respect the Judean priesthood, is that it took them 300 years to create the apostasy, to get Rome to outlaw the mysteries, which is Christianity. So we've got it backwards. Everything's backwards. They've twisted our minds. They made us believe that Christianity overtook the world and outlawed paganism. But the truth is Judaism snuck into paganism or Christianity, the mystery schools, turned it into the worship of Yahweh, and then outlawed the original mysteries. That's actually what happened. And step by step, year after year, they slowly just, did little shenanigans to where it's so slow, like a frog being placed in warm water and then slowly cooked to death, Oh my goodness. Whew. Well, I'll be dadgum. Isn't this beautiful? I thought it was a stairway down to the bottom, but I guess it stops here. Just a place to look out. That's what they should do, make stairs all the way down. But who'd want to go down all the way? Be a lot of work, huh? Whew. This is just a smaller canyon that goes into that larger canyon over there. So I want to establish, wait till you hear the next video we're going to do. I believe the next one I'm going to do tomorrow, we can do it. I was going to do it today, but I just had to get out and get some exercise. I just needed to get outside. I felt like, I've been sitting around for 2-3 days and I just needed to get out and do some walking. But I have a lot of stuff I want to tell you about the Masoretic text. It's a hoax, the whole thing. There are no Hebrew manuscripts that have Yahweh in there. There are some places where they put this supposed tetragrammaton. We don't even know what that is. It's like, oh, these are some holy letters. This is what, we don't even know how to say it. And then they put some false deity, Adonai. They put the vowel points for Adonai instead of the real deity. So here's the thing. That's not the way to pronounce the name. That's not the name of deity. It is simply where they are saying to the world that don't know that this is this holy name that is their deity, Yahweh, for us. But they know that these little vowels that they put in there, little marks and dots and stuff by the word, will tell people who can, the priests and stuff like that, that this is actually to be, you're supposed to say Adonai. The vowels are for Adonai. Adonai, is a totally different thing. But the Septuagint version is the version that Jesus used, and we know that because he quoted from it and the apostles quoted from it, and quoted from verses from the Apocrypha, which the Masoretic scribes did not include, like Maccabees and Tobit and books like that. So we know that Jesus and his disciples used, because they quoted, whenever they quoted from the Old Testament, they quoted it from the Septuagint. The virgin birth, not a young maiden, and so on and so forth. So we know they used the Septuagint. And we know the Holy Textus Receptus was known for centuries as the only text that Christians were supposed to read. But once the Jewish people, the Goths from above up in Germany, which were some of the lost tribes of Israel that had some of the tribe of Judah and Dan, which was false religion, they were worshiping Odan or Godan, which is what we've got today as God, and they inserted God in the text instead of Theo in the New Testament. And they removed Kyrios in the Old Testament, which just means the Lord, which is probably Jesus himself. But see, now, the way it's all twisted, people will think, oh, okay, so that means Kyrios is Jehovah, and if Jesus is Kyrios in the New Testament, he must be Jehovah. That's not it. In the Old Testament, they don't call Jehovah Kyrios. They call him Adonai. It's a different word. And so Kyrios is some other, we don't know how they translate it in Hebrew because we don't have it. But what we have in the Dead Sea Scrolls is many of those places where it would be Kyrios, they've translated it El. So there's a lot of shenanigans that the Judeans did just to twist it around so that we would think that Yahweh is the only deity. But it's just a big hoax to get the entire world into the apostasy. Either saying in English, God, which is not the Lord Jesus, or Yahweh. And I guarantee Jehovah's Witnesses, and yes, even for a while I didn't know about Francis Bacon, people like that. I thought, well, maybe, you know, they must have known some of the mysteries and so forth, but I believe this is the apostasy. They're the ones that were up in, you know, Francis Bacon was up in Bavaria. And so, you know, this has been a long thought out effort that they started translating the Bible, changing. Why would they make a new translation of the Bible and declare to all the world that, you know, you've got to have the King James and everybody's got to read the King, because it was not translated from the Holy Textus Receptus. But even then, the King James had originally just said Lord. It didn't say Yahweh in there. So they were kind of following both, because they couldn't right off the bat, you know. The original King James Version had the Apocrypha. So they followed some of the Textus Receptus, I guess. But it's just that so much apostasy had already occurred from these Masoretic texts that when you read, some people, they say that the King James is from the Masoretic text, and some say, no, it's from the Textus Receptus, which is what fooled me. I didn't realize that it was actually influenced heavily by the Masoretic text. But they just kept making it, you know, worse and worse with their translations until they financed Jehovah's Witnesses to make the New World Translation and add Jehovah back in everywhere. And then later on, the Sacred Names Bibles and things like this is just all mixed up, and everybody's completely confused now. And here come some people down the stairs, so well, we'll go back up and see what we got up top. Well, let's go this way. Opposite direction. Which way we went that way. We're gonna go this way and see if we can find a little bit more of that pitch. We got quite a bit at that last stop, enough to last me maybe a week or so. And as time goes on, we'll get more as the fall progresses, I think. I've been using the frankincense, I guess is what it is I'm using. And a friend bought me it. It was very expensive. But this here is free, and this is really good stuff. And this is the kind you want. There's some fresh stuff, but I want it's actually a lot of this stuff you can't tell, but it's actually pitch. Some of it's not, though. That actually is. But some of that
has a lot of little, I don't know, it's kind of got dirt in it and stuff. I don't know. Probably the way you're supposed to burn it though. Probably makes it more flammable. I don't know. They stole the mysteries from us and we got to figure it all out ourselves. All over again, huh? Okay, this is where we had turned down this trail. We had gone down that way, so we're going up this way. See what we got. Oh, love these trees. Man. Too bad the world's coming to an end. This would be a great place to live. Paradise. Is that some big old hunk of pitch right there? Oh, howdy. I'm gonna put this camera down and get that pitch, guys. All right. See if we can capture the feet. Okay, right there. Look at that beautiful piece. Should do this with two hands so I don't lose it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to do that with two hands so I don't end up losing that big old chunk. Hold on, guys. Well, I ended up getting it, but I broke my knife doing it. But I got some real good stuff there. So pretty. Huh. Oh man. There's something so majestic and beautiful about this area. Leechin. I think Leechin it's actually mycelium as well. Really the same kind of family. I mean, it's all fungus. We'll go a little further. Use up about an hour, maybe, like we normally do. Take a look at a few more things, and that's a bullet or a nail. Came off, whatever it was. Here's some fresh stuff. Oh, there's a big old chunk. Okay, guys, let's set the phone down. Okay. There's a whole bunch I got, and some of it's still in my pocket because I couldn't get it out of my pocket. So we got a bunch. And it's, yeah, I might have to throw this shirt away because it's going to be all pitchy. But anyway, we got enough pitch. Probably go ahead and head back. I'd like to do some more walking and hiking, but it's just kind of raining. And it looks like there's more rain coming. But man, I gotta come back and get more of this pitch. Of course, I don't know how much I'm gonna need because I've never really used it. I don't know how well it burns or anything. One thing about this pine, you can get this pitch this time of year everywhere. That's probably the bunch of it right here. The whole bunch. There's a big clump of it. Probably right there. Okay, I got a whole bunch more. Got a whole pocket full of it now. I think we're good for today. Ah, such a beautiful day. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and shut this off and head back to town and load this for you so you guys can see what I saw today. What a beautiful place. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Have a good one.